Hello, my name is Nathan Alexander. I'm a junior electrical engineer major, and today I'm going to talk about my first rotation at Jordan Scala Engineers for my electrical co-op. Jordan Scala Engineers is a mechanical, electrical, and plumbing firm. They were founded in 1953. They have offices around the US. There's one in Charlotte, and the one I worked at was in Atlanta, Georgia. Some of the projects you might recognize that they've worked on are the Whitewater Center in Charlotte, Georgia Tech Rec Center, and the UGA East Campus Village. I was an electrical discipline co-op. For my first semester, I worked on a team with about 30 people between different disciplines like mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. My supervisor was Jeff Davison, and I worked on the electrical team itself was about 9 other people, including me. This was my first ever co-op or internship experience. Some of the interesting things we did were we had weekly co-op meetings where we learned more about each of the disciplines and how to become a more professional engineer and make connections. Our team had some fun events like Top Golf, potlucks, and we had a marathon for the whole company. I got to make connections with other co-ops on my team and some of the other teams, and I got to hang out with some of my coworkers as well. Some of my work duties included laying out electrical devices for building plans. Most of the buildings I worked on were apartments or dormitories. Laying out a building would include putting in receptacles, which are power outlets, lighting, communications, which included Wi-Fi and TV, fire safety devices, breaker boxes, and switches. I had to double check calculations and diagrams, which included mine and other people's work. I created riser diagrams, load calculations, and site plans, and attended electrical team meetings. Some of the things I've done to help the company is I worked 20 to 30 different projects on different degrees of completion. I caught errors that would cost the team more money and time. One example of that would be we're referencing a load calculation that we didn't actually have on the project, and we're about to send it out for permit, and I caught that before we turned it in. I helped with last minute jobs to make sure they get finished before the end of the day or the due date. I refilled the plotter and fixed problems with it to reduce time that other employees had to mess with that. I didn't know MEP firms existed before getting my experience with Jordan Scala. I learned that MEP firm is very important to make sure that buildings are safe and the people inside of it are safe as well. I felt like I had an impact on how the buildings are created and how people have their own experiences within that building. And I learned about the different codes and why they have to be followed. And I learned helpful information about load centers. Another thing I learned is that a professional engineering license is very important for a MEP firm. You need an engineer to stamp off on permit or construction sets before you send them out. I also learned that you can take the PE license in another state, and some of the states let you take the exam before you complete your first 4 years, and after you finish the 4 years you can apply to get the license. Also, I found out that I need to take the FE exam before I take the PE exam. Some of the things I learned is how professional engineers act in a work environment, how and why we need electrical work for buildings, the process that MEP firms go through to complete projects, the different parts of an MEP firm, and why my job is important for the safety of other people in the building. My career path changed slightly while at Jordan Scala. Some of the things I learned are I want to make sure that I have an impact with the work I do. I like working with a team, and I like being in communication with them. I want to start working toward my PE, so I need to take my FE exam sometime within the next 2 years. I would like to get a little bit more hands-on with my work. as well. These are my references and contact information. Thank you for listening to my presentation.